About 100 Anaheim residents and community activists marched on City Hall to demand change over how city council members are elected in Anaheim.
The marchers want the city to switch from citywide elections to voting districts. Reporter David Nazar joins us with the details. David?
Ed and Maria, after months of community meetings, the Anaheim Citizens Advisory Committee did recommend that the City Council place district-based elections on the ballot for voters. The ACLU and activists are embroiled in a lawsuit with the city claiming at-large elections in Anaheim violate the California Voting Rights Act.
No peace! No peace!
Protesters are here because they say Anaheim officials are still not listening. It's been 1 year since the summer of civil unrest in Anaheim, when residents took to the streets and stormed City Hall following 2 police shootings that stirred racial tensions in Anaheim. Those demonstrations led to calls for district elections in Anaheim so that representatives from minority areas would have an opportunity to serve on the city council. Instead, the council majority decided to put a district residency requirement for candidates on the ballot for voters to approve. However, the candidates would still be elected at large. The protesters say this doesn't address the real issue of true representation for the Hispanic community of Anaheim.
We have the decaying infrastructure, and there's a lot of police violence. There's gangs, there's graffiti, there's police brutality, there's all sorts of problems in the neighborhoods.
When you try to talk to city council members, do you feel they listen to you?
Well, at times it seems like they're not paying attention at all, so that's why we're here.
Having districts is going to have a diverse and fair city council that represents the community. Right now, there's currently no one that represents the west side or the south, and the residents are not being heard.
These protesters say the only way they are going to be heard and get much-needed services and neighborhood improvements is to do away with at-large voting. The ACLU, on behalf of some activists, is suing Anaheim over this. Jose Moreno is one of those activists. Moreno and the ACLU say the city is violating the California Voting Rights Act by not switching over to district-based voting. In fact, Anaheim, with its nearly 350,000 population, is the largest California city to still elect its representatives at large. All big cities in the state use district elections, as do many smaller cities.
What we'd like to see is an equal voice for every neighborhood that is authentic. We don't want fake districts where the rest of the city votes for the representative of West Anaheim or Central Anaheim, but the Central Anaheim votes for who represents them. So that's the change we'd like to see, because we feel there will really have a sustainable voice and vote in the city council. So what we need is deep investments in the neighborhoods that go beyond charity work. What our council has done is they've asked partners to give charity, and what we don't want is charity. What we want is sustained investment.
Anaheim Mayor Tom Tate told PBS SoCal his city is most likely breaking the law. Mayor Tate says district-based voting is vital to Anaheim.
I think it helps underserved minority folks. I think it helps everybody. So I think it's beyond a race issue.
The mayor says he voted against the council's decision to change over to residency-based districts because he agrees with the protesters that the at-large system is basically still in place.
It's simple, good government, that the government closest to the people serves the people the best. So if you have districts, let's say if we divide the city into 6 or 8 districts, when you run for council, you run in your neighborhood. You represent the people that you know, that they know you, and that you know their issues intimately.
Anaheim City Councilwoman Chris Murray voted with the majority for the ballot measure to enact residency requirements. She disagrees with Mayor Tate, the ACLU, and the protesters. Murray says all community members have always had a voice at the at-large voting system, a voice she says that's been heard loudly and clearly by city officials over the years.
To say that they're being ignored is an absolute falsehood, and it's a baseless claim. We are investing in our communities, but as a charter city that has constitutional protections in the state constitution, it is yet to be seen whether we are violating that law or not. I think the facts speak for themselves, and since 2002, our majority council membership that has been Hispanic or ethnic minority in at-large elections proves that our electorate elects people of all ethnic makeup and as well as chooses women to serve in this office.
Now, the court has stayed the ACLU lawsuit against Anaheim until the end of July. That's when the judge will hold a special status conference to either delay the case further, potentially dismiss the case, or possibly, Ed and Maria, send it to trial. Of course, the city has already shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees in this case, and it could ultimately spend a few $1 million to see this thing through.
Good, David. Thanks so much.